Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And it's been one crazy experience. The past couple of weeks of the Ascension symptoms have been so intense, and here to talk about that and much, much more. And my one of my favorite people, honestly, my brother Guardian, is joining us for today's conversation. How are you today, Guardian?
Yay, hello, hello. I'm sending all of you much love from Transylvania. I'm ready to go to sleep. High vibrations, you just get up. So,
Yeah.
feel like full circle almost. And yeah, a lot of stuff have been happening energetically too. I guess we will be talking quite a bit about it. And also, we will have a lot of surprises. Let's see what kind of info comes through during the flow of this event. So, very excited about that. But
Yeah.
did you have anything specific come through or come up in the past 1 or 2 days or recently
Um, That's
that you
kind of
want
such a
to
big
address?
question. There's been so much happening energetically, ascension symptom wise. There's been a lot going on. So I guess maybe you can be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, I think we go into the physical to start with that first. I
Okay.
will also share what I observed in the past few days. I usually train 3 times a week, and my guides were constantly no, don't do it today. Don't do it, rest or stuff like that. I'm not sure what's happening physically, but I think it took almost the last week completely off with physical activities, and it felt really good. I also had to sleep quite a bit extra for some reason, and I observed something strange with my joints during the night. I'm not sure what's happening. I don't have problems with it, but if I wake up during the night, then my hips and all my joints are aching. I'm not sure if they're doing some kind of recalibration during the night,
Right.
but when I wake up in the morning, then everything's back to normal. So I'm not sure what my body is doing. Do you have any info about that maybe?
Yeah, I've been having some. Okay, so the thank you for your sharing. Um, the way that things have been going energetically is we're doing a whole recalibration. In fact, Spirit called it a reset. I When we let go of our earthly attachments that block our crown chakra, then there's suddenly something that happens. Each person has a different experience. My experience was I went through the experience, the what would be described as it felt like a death, and then all of a sudden my guides had I like became aware when I was 22 years old, and everything was the same as it was back at that time. And I lived through it rapidly with a narration of spirit in my ear. And everyone noticed that I was different. It wasn't like a review. It was like I really was taken back to this place. And since then, I've been having so much physical, like purging, and just I am so freaking exhausted all day long. And the past 3 days, I've not gotten a break. When it's time to go to bed, the energy spikes. And it's not even that I'm not tired. My body is physically overwhelmingly tired. It's just that my mind is not turning off, and it's um along with the whole thing about the joints that you were talking about, that has to do with the purging of the chakras that they were telling me
Hmm.
about. And like for me, I'm noticing it more in my shoulders and back, that there's some real joint, every freaking vertebrae. Like there's something going when I first wake up. And just like Guardian had already said, you guys may not have understood that exactly. I literally woke up 20 minutes ago or something, whenever that was, that I sent Guardian a message, and I'm like, I just woke up coming. Like that was at 12:42, so that was just a few minutes ago, really. And um my daughter's still asleep too. Like, we've all required more sleep, and we're maybe those of us who aren't giving it to ourselves. And especially since I'm not wanting to go to sleep till after the sun's well risen, you know. But there's a lot going on with that. This purge, um, some people are experiencing it like frequent bathroom trips. Blowing your nose a lot is another one. I'm getting this weird stuff coming out of my skin that's like acne, I guess, but like it's purging. That everybody has the different experience. So yeah.
Yeah, like we're shedding a lot of old skin, basically. But it's kind of,
Just like the skin
yeah,
does.
but I know like it has been the main theme for the past few years. Oh, it's 11/11 at your end, I guess.
It one
Yeah.
one one.
Okay. Yeah, like it's been the main theme in the past few years. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but yeah. I think like the key takeaway with all this purging and like recalibration is to like try to rest and like recognize like when it intensifies and subsides, because like it all comes in waves basically. So sometimes it's like very intense, a lot of transformation is happening, and after that we like have a more evened out rest period, like try to use those to integrate like what happened and like recalibrate yourself during your day-to-day lives. Like I found that really helps with all this huge transformations that are happening.
Yeah, yeah. What can you do to help yourself? Oh, hey Janet, you're in Guardian's channel. That's why. So you're a
Hmm.
paired link. She's asking where everybody's at. um, what can you do to help yourself when you're going through that?
Yeah.
What's the
Uh-huh.
best?
Well, like, what's the best? Like I wouldn't say like I thought. I recognize that like whenever like these transformations happen, like there's always something that was like hidden that needs to come to the surface. Like that's kind of what I observe generally. Excuse me. And most of the times it's not necessarily something pleasant, like life in general like points us in a specific direction, like something that we were maybe avoiding in our own lives, maybe regarding our physical well-being, emotional or mental well-being, like we haven't been taking care of ourselves properly or whatever, maybe relationship issues or stuff like that. And I find that like during these periods when the transformation intensifies, like something, usually just one, not just one thing, comes to the surface in a subtle way or not a very subtle way. Like sometimes it can be very like a boom, like life hitting you on the head because you weren't paying attention. So be very mindful and be very present, so life doesn't need to hit you over the head with some kind of major lesson or event that transforms your life in a more drastic way. But yeah, like just pay attention, like what agitates you that day or what is triggering you. Like are there like any types of physical problems or symptoms coming to the surface? Mostly I guess it's something that is like reoccurring, like you weren't taking care of a specific thing about you. Maybe you had
Yeah.
like a returning sickness or a returning condition that you haven't taken care of, or you're not paying attention to what your body needs. And it comes up again because your body is letting you know gently or not so gently sometimes that, hey, like, please pay attention to this. Like, you need to fix this or do something about it
Right.
and like look into it. And in my case, it was something with my feet, like it came up, then it passed. Like I'm not sure how these things work. So basically, how do you call that thing? Like you have this arch in your foot, and if you don't have that, that's like
Yeah.
plat foot or something. How do you call that in English?
Flat
Flat
foot.
foot, yes. So mine is not balanced. Like my one of my feet are okay, and the other one is completely flat, almost. So there's a type of imbalance
Okay.
happening either way in my posture and all that. It's not very evident, but I can feel it as I'm moving, and my body was starting to like on my foot that has a problem, like towards the outside, like one of my bones like just started to like grow outwards, or I don't know how to explain that.
Oh
And it
wow.
started to like be very painful to the like step on that specific foot. Like every step was like, oh.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
awful.
And it lasted for a month or so. And recently, in the past 3 days, it completely went away. So I don't think that's just like,
It went
yeah,
away?
it's gone. So, like, how does that go away? Like, did the bone
Sweet.
like go back to its place, or I'm not sure. I also noticed that with my
Wow.
teeth as well. Like, I didn't have it recently, but last year, I think, I know it was like years before. I think we talked about this also, like in a private Zoom conversation. That you also said that your dentist said that he'd never seen so many broken teeth, and that like our teeth are like
Mm.
shifting a lot and like demineralizing and then coming back. Like I also noticed on myself, like I think 2 years ago, that all of a sudden I have genetically very strong teeth. And all of a sudden I realized when I took like a closer look with light in my face that my teeth were like turning dark. And I was like, whoa, like what the F is happening? Like I didn't have that problem. And after a few weeks, it returned to normal. So I don't know how the heck are these things fluctuating, or sometimes there isn't really a gap between my teeth, and after that they form a gap, but it's not visible. But I feel it when I'm doing the flossing thing. So I'm not sure what's
Right.
so it's a lot of stuff is happening in our body, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I can actually echo, not identically, but there's been a lot interesting too. One of my feet, I had broken my foot years ago, and it didn't heal right, and it was just all. I had landed on a 2x6 that was a planter, like when I jumped out of a window of the house. I had a abuser in the house that was like, just jump out, and like shattered my foot. Anyway, um, uh, the I didn't. I've been kind of walking with it being weird for a while, and then I just not very long ago went through this process. It was where it was actually heating up. My foot was heating up at night, and I knew that there was some type of healing happening there.
Hmm.
I knew I could sense the presence of others that were there to help me. And so I was like, okay, here we go. That's yes, please, thank you. Um, and then there was this, it felt immediately different and better. Like I've always had this weird bump on top where one of the bones is not lined up the way it's supposed to or something. And it disappeared. Um, and on top of that, like we're doing a lot of I'm actually noticing that with my teeth too. My teeth are mending themselves. We're in a window of rejuvenation. That reset that I was talking about, that it it was as if when I woke up, and from every moment after that I've been 22. I know that I'm not, but like I feel there's everything. It's like I'm still living in a time where this period of time, and when I was 22 was actually around the time that 9/11 happened. I thought that was really
Yeah,
interesting.
I was, I think,
That
11 years old when
correlation.
that happened. So
Yeah, it's 24 years
yeah,
ago.
wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Like, and the fact that it came to that year, in that moment. But um and along with it, this rejuvenation. It's been really weird to talk to people because everyone's going through different experiences about it. We are in the eclipse. Oh, and Justice said it. We are in the eclipsal energy right now. The eclipse hasn't happened yet. We have a lunar eclipse happening on Sunday. Hey, I think you might be able to. Are you going to see it? I think you might be able to see it, Guardian, when it happens.
What, yeah, like what
Yeah,
should I be looking for?
the lunar
Hmm.
eclipse. Are you in the viewable?
I'm not sure. I don't really keep a track
You're
of these
Eastern
things.
Europe, I
It's
think.
mostly only during the winter time, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so this particular eclipse, um, it will be at the beginning of your night. Like, so it'll like the moon will come up, and then you'll be able to see it, kind of thing. I think is kind of how it's going to work. But anyway, um, this eclipse is everybody knows we always have eclipses, but the eclipse energy that's coming in is pretty pronounced. And the fact that sept is this, it means sept means 7, so therefore truly the September is the 7th month, and it's the 7-7 portal that this eclipse is happening on. And then 2 weeks later, on the 21st, just in time for the equinox, we're having the solar eclipse. It's a partial eclipse. What's more is just coming up for those who are listening, and it's kind of fun. This is the 9 year. So yeah, this sept means that this is the 7th month, but we still observe it as the 9th month, and therefore we still have the 9-9 portal. But this particular year, it's the 999 portal on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're expecting a lot. Yeah. With that, the energy that's coming in from it, we're having an increased everything. All the stuff that's happening is increasing, along with this not a comet. Have you heard about the 3-eye Atlas, this comet? Oh my gosh. I love being the first one to get to tell somebody something cool. So anyway, long story short, there's largely big speculation in the community of spiritual and science and stuff, but most people are at least commenting that they know it's not behaving like a normal comet. This comet's coming in from outside of our solar system, and it's meant to Kazemi the sun on the 1010 portal. And like it's changed its trajectory. It's steered. It's avoided masses, like it was going to hit Saturn, and then it was going to hit Saturn's rings. Well, it steered. A comet doesn't steer.
Not really, yeah.
It just goes.
Maybe it was affected by some kind of gravitational field, maybe, or.
I feel like it's a spaceship.
Oh, okay.
That's what I get about it. Like I feel, and I think it's kind of funny. I asked about it because I'm like, it's kind of like a grown up jumping on a tricycle. Why are you coming that way? And it's to give everybody time to adjust and get used to the concept. But what I understand is they're Arcturian, largely Arcturian on that vessel.
No.
So I don't know. You've not heard about it yet, but what do you think?
I'm not sure. Like a lot of Arcturian energy has been coming up for me in the past week. So I also you brought it up right now. So I really, really need to get in contact with the Arcturians. I didn't really realize like how present they were in my life, because like there is Yolanda, like I always watch her videos. We also talk, so that's a very unique thing that we can do. Like I actually know someone who is in contact with them. And after that, some very old videos from Arcturus Rock came into my feed, and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, like it was like almost like directly speaking to me. I'm like, okay, like I really need to sit down and think about and like make a connection more consciously, I guess. But I suppose they were like guiding me anyways. Like from time to time, I feel like we are like merging, or like they come closer to my field, or I don't know, like my understanding. But yeah, I guess it's time to like bring it to the conscious rather than just something very distant and something that is like not tangible enough. Like I did the same with the Syrian energy, like not like 5 or 6 years ago, kind of. I think 5 years ago, yeah. So maybe it's time to do the Arcturian things.
Right. And in fact, you brought this up. Like, so in 2017, there was the Oumuamua, that was an exoplanet, whatever, space, I think is what they call it, vessel, or they called it a comet, Oumuamua. And then we had, I want to call it Romanov, but it was something like that, in 2019. And now this one. And what I've really been looking into these other earlier ones is And it's so funny because I remember where science largely accepted Oumuamua must have been some type of a vessel, because how it behaved once it got to near our
Mm-hmm.
sun, it kind of used the sun to slingshot and move out. But the way that it did it was broke all science basically. But the other part though is that when Oumuamua came in 2007, we were at solar minimum still. There was the solar activity wasn't nearly as active as it is now, and uh, once it as it approached the sun started to interact with us like it was at solar maximum. We'll be at solar maximum for another year and a half or so, technically. Um, why is this so significant is that, well, yeah, the solar activity slowly kind of started quieting more and more, like solar flares and stuff like that. But as this vessel gets closer and closer to our sun, just as it did for Oumuamua, it's waking back up. Like we're all of a sudden having more solar activity. You'll look at it and there's almost always like polar absorption going on, where we're having a constant CME storm, like all kinds of weird energy. Many people are reporting the sensation of anxiety. I'm rubbing here, this area of the body, the sensation of anxiety without the emotion. Sometimes people will pick up on the emotion of it. That was a reminder I need to get ready for my show. I did it an hour too late. That's anyway, and so that's connected with the solar activity. Is this it feels like your heart's beating too fast or weirdly, and that just energy right here, if we grab onto it, then some people will find that there's an emotional aspect to it that they've chosen to accept, but it's not always a thing that you require.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like, are we expecting some kind of larger solar activity in the coming days, maybe?
yeah,
Again? Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's a
yeah, yeah,
constant right now. So I think for the past 1 or 2 years, like, solar activity has been like over the top, super unusual.
yeah. Yeah, it's actually expected to
Hmm.
increase more and more as they approach and get to us. They're supposedly going to be making actual so Kazemi is when something goes behind the sun. Um, and like there's a grand solar conjunction is actually what it's called, and then another word that they use for it. Anyway, it's doing that in October, and then supposedly coming to their side on December 12th, on 12/12. Well, it'll come out to the other side, and along with it, just like you've reported as well as other people in the audience are talking about, I started to get this Arcturian stuff too, like some really, in surprising. They're a really fun energy to connect with. I really do enjoy it. They're very balanced in their like sexual energy, like being divine feminine, divine masculine is what I mean, gender. They're so balanced. It's hard to tell what they are at first, I find. There's not any spikes of energy like you find on the divine masculine, and it's not all the way smooth like the divine feminine. It's just that but they're kind of like the most amazing like aunts or mothers, that kind of energy, even though they're dudes.
Yeah, like they've been on the spiritual path for quite some time, so they're like
Yeah,
super balanced and advanced compared to us. I don't know much about them, but I think they're also very ancient. So
yeah, yeah. Whenever they've come in, they've always been like they're very brief, concise, and the wisdom that's dropped is just immense. It's like super, like wow, and I'm still unpacking what happened on Sunday. How you have to like unfurl one like flower petal at a time to kind of figure out what's
hmm.
inside there when you get a telepathic message. And I'm still unpacking what ended on Sunday but started on Thursday last week.
Yeah, like can you
And,
share?
and it came from them.
Can you
Hmm?
share it?
Yeah, it's just this reset I was talking about, or I briefly mentioned earlier, where I was brought back to the time when I had this attachment that I didn't realize it was connected to me. It'd been attached to me since I was 4 when I had my first near-death experience, and it was like a unkind energy. And I had gone down to the Four Corners and met with the shaman down there of the local of that tribe of my and um, what was released from me. They told me not to talk about it for 11 years. Now this is the time I got brought back to. They brought me there, but they were narrating in my ear the whole time, and um, it started with. Let me go back a little bit further just to make
Mm-hmm.
sense. Um, on July 2nd, I started to talk to them, and at their spaceship, and in the spaceship, this vessel, um, it's not all Arcturians though. Like there's a bunch of them. Most of them are, but there's a bunch of other people too. It felt kind of um, uh, like what was that movie, Valerian, A Thousand
No, I haven't
Planets?
seen it
You
yet.
know, like
I haven't
what was
seen
that?
it yet. We'll have to check it out.
Oh, it's a fun movie. My daughter loves it, and um, she's 11 and she's starting to watch real movies now. um, but anyway, just more. It's like an embassy. You have all these different others there too, and what they had guided us to understand was that we're going to be um, like unpacking a lot. You know, all of this emotion that we've not allowed ourselves to feel, or we felt too closely and have tried to try to dissect and invest in. This is anchoring us. And so that's why we have all these different weird emotions all coming up right now. That's why all of that weird most of the emotion, if you lean into it and let yourself really feel it, it's fleeting. It doesn't last very long. Like, but it's not feeling it has kept it there and kept you there, you know? And so that's what this has all been about. There's a global mourning that's happening in a way that you can kind of feel like there's grief on the edge of your energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I've been also observing this sensation that I mean, it's also in general like very important to like live in the now and appreciate the experiences that you can have in this moment. But yeah, like I've been also experiencing this that or having this sensation that I don't know how to describe. Like all of this is fleeting, and like all of this will subside and like go away sooner or later, and now is the time to enjoy it and like do what you can do at any given moment, because like all of this is like going to go away basically. I mean and it's not necessarily like a sad feeling, but yeah, like definitely that mourning type of energy is in it, because the old way of yeah, like basically the world that we grew up in and got used to is I mean it is falling apart. Yeah,
Yeah.
gently.
It's a
Yeah,
good
like,
thing, though.
but I think it's falling apart in a like in a controlled demolition type of way,
Hmm.
and at the same time, other
Yeah.
things are rising to like take its place. Although it's not always visible because it's very subtle, and I think it's also much more gentler energy than the one that is like going away. And I also we have like the tendency to focus on the drama and the lack of things and the bad stuff in life. So I guess we don't really notice that. But yeah, like it's
Hmm.
also part of our conditioning to like focus on the drama and all the negative stuff basically. So try to like keep in
Right.
yeah, like just be in the present and like observe all the good stuff that is happening as well, because they're always both. So and it depends on us like which end of the stick we want to grab. So
Right. And it's just you said, you know, where it's being replaced with something better, And that's what has happened in the past. What has happened in the past in recent years is that when something's faulty, it's replaced with something modeled after the faulty thing. Like, so it's kind of like that thing and doesn't do anybody any good getting to this new one. And but what's happening now is it's different enough that what's we are getting things to replace these things, but it's different enough that it's shocking to the identity that has been here. For some of you, been here for 10,000 lifetimes. You know, there's everybody has a different number, everybody's got a different experience, but that's a lot of times to get used to this. You know, this is what normal is, this is what it feels like to be in this world. And however broken it may have been, it feels like home. You know, it feels like what you've been used to, so therefore it feels like home. And so as it leaves, as it moves into something different, there's a mourning, a natural grief, a natural some kind of goodbye that's happening. You know, like, have you ever left? I mean, I don't know. We moved so much growing up, but like there were times where when we were moving, it was so good to be moving away from that particular place. It was dilapidated, it was messed up kind of places, and yet there's still this grief. There's still, you want to look in the watch it leave in the back through the back window. You know, there's still that. Yeah, but that was my home. The reason that the stairs were demolished and broken because all of my brothers and sisters who had been running up and down those stairs. You know, those are memories, those are moments in your life. And it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like that kind of grief, you know, and so it's, and then there's the other part of it is that on the world scale, there's some crazy stuff going down right now, stuff that I wasn't fully made aware of, um, but until like after the fact. But apparently, on Monday, a lot of the planet was in protest. They all went protesting for a lot of different reasons, but most of it was to do with the minority workers, or not even minority, but the workers being a minority or whatever, which is the majority, funny enough. Um, the workers were in a revolt of the employers, is basically what it came down to. It was the 99% against the elite, kind of a protest. They walked on and did it was pretty interesting. So if that's what's happening on the unawakened mass consciousness, what's happening for us that are aware? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and I would also like to add something to the whole grief and like letting go stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this whole memory and like idea came up. Like for some reason, it's like very strange. Like whenever I go back to my hometown, visit my mom and dad and all that environment, like I technically know that it's the same place that I grew up in, but it doesn't. But feeling wise, it's completely different. So on a, I know, like on the logical level, I know it's the same place, but it's not. So that's a different place. I didn't grow up there. And it's like such a strange feeling that I can't really put my finger on, but I know like this is no longer that place where I grew up, even though it looks like it, but it's not. So
Right. It's no longer the same. So you can't really go back to it anyway. And I love that you brought that up, because that's where we are right now. Is that we wouldn't go back to it, and even if we could, though we can't. We're now in the ascension. We're now evolving through it, and so too, with that comes growing pains. You know, which that's why there's been so much more ascension symptoms the past couple of weeks. Like, I've felt so under the weather for so long now that it's crazy, you know, and we're all purging and we're all doing these different things while having these emotion bodies move through us that we're, I don't know why I'm feeling all of a sudden this deep sensation to bawl my eyes out of grief. And then moments later, seconds later, literally, like as if it didn't really even start yet. Suddenly it's cleared and
Yeah.
gone, and it's like,
I also noticed that like our energy is also fluctuating. Like I get up in a specific energetic level. I think it was yesterday. Like I felt like trash when I woke up. And I feel after that, I know, like after like 8 hours, I came back, and at the end of the day, I had great energy. So, also had a very unusual
right.
experience, or not. I'm not sure. It depends on who you ask. I think it was on Sunday evening, or when it was just me and my daughter at home, and we had some time alone, and we wanted to watch The Lion King. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I haven't seen it like in 10 years or so. And she has
Hmm.
never seen it before, I think. But I know, like, if anyone who's seen it, it has some very emotional stuff in it and things like that. And I think there were like multiple times during the movie that both of us were crying, like in each other's arms. Like, I don't know, like where that came
That's
from,
great.
but was like our emotional state was like so elevated. Like both of us
Yeah.
were like releasing a lot of stuff from ourselves.
S- You said
Yeah,
Lion
The
King,
Lion
right?
King. Yeah, I think
Was it the cartoon or the newer
no,
version?
the '98, the real Lion King, not the fake
The real Lion King.
CGI.
I just wondered because we hadn't wanted to watch the other one, but for some reason we watched it last night, and that would have been so. So we just watched the different Lion King together. That's so fascinating. My daughter and I, and your daughter and you.
Very
It's so
interesting.
fun
Yeah.
that we had that. There's got to be more symbolism behind that. There's no coincidences. But yeah, that emotion that you're not used to having there is, and then it's also coming, like that situation you
Yep.
explained. We're having natural occurrences coming up in order for those to be delivered, so you can experience the emotions so they can go
Okay.
with that. Like, I've been noticing, so I've been talking with people, like, in groups and individually, and one of the most common reports right now, is this heart and kind of feeling like, um, anxiety in some kind of way. And I was wondering, are you experiencing any of these kind of symptoms lately, or is that
No,
just, so far my sampling's only been women, so I'm curious if men are
no,
also
I also
having it.
was observing this whole heart palpitation and agitation thing, and it's like comes and goes. Then when it comes up, I mean, I've been on the awakened path for quite some time, so whenever it comes up, I tend to like observe it, like what is happening, like why am I feeling this thing that comes up? And most of the time, it just like comes out of the blue, and I don't really. I mean, I logically don't understand like why is it coming up because it makes no sense. So sometimes when I have time to like reflect on it, like go a bit deeper, mostly I sense that it's like not really mine, or it's like just some kind of side effect of, I guess maybe the sun or what's happening like energetically. But that's mostly the heart area. Like that's where I really feel it when I guess we're getting some new info from the sun or some new downloads, but I really feel it as like all of a sudden just my heart is like pulsating much more strongly. It's not that bad, but I think like 2 years ago, like I had it like really, really intense. It almost like scared me. I remember the moment when I was in the bathroom and I don't know, like I was preparing to like take a shower or something, and all of a sudden my heart was just like boom, just like coming out, and I was like, like oh my god, I thought I was going to have like
Yeah,
a heart attack or something. I had to sit down. That was the most
right.
intense that I got so far. So, but yeah, that really scared
Yeah, I'm
me.
having something like that. Yeah, you described it. And it's, for me, I'm noticing it when it's 144, 144,000. Um, I'm noticing it mostly about bedtime, and it's so frustrating because right at bedtime, that's when you're wanting to rest. That's when, and also my core, like, it starts to, like, I feel the vibration, like on my body, my heart center is vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
And that part is actually what really draws my attention initially. But it's been really unpleasant. It's been and consistent. It really hit last week, but then it kind of like slowed down and kind of came to a halt, and now it's back. The last night and it's just the night before that, it's just back, and it makes it so even though you're super exhausted, I just can't go to sleep when your heart is going too fast and you're trying to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you like also have
So
like a racing mind, like a lot of ideas and abstract stuff is just like coming in, and you just can't go to sleep. I also been experiencing that for the past 2 or 3 days. I had it like very intensely. I think we did the Violet Flame meditation marathon last week. My linear time, yeah, like
yeah,
okay, so that was last week. Okay, my sense of linear time is
it's
out
hard
the
to keep
window.
track.
So okay, so when we did that, and I think the last 3 days, like I was exhausted. Like I didn't recognize or realize, but I wouldn't say like it was taking a toll on me, like doing that every day with the group. But I was so exhausted
Yeah,
towards the end, and when I went to bed, I just couldn't fall asleep. And in 5 a.m., I was awake already. So
yeah, that's it. You just described it. Like even though you're, because I'm doing more than usual too. Like there's more people reaching out, requiring attention, assistance in a variety of different ways. But it's all ascension related, or awakening related. It's been pretty intense. Yet still, when it's time to go to sleep, like I'm awake. Like you said, your brain is unpacking. For those of you who did miss it, I did also pop into each one of them eventually. Each one of the meditations that you did. Um, if you can find that on Guardian's channel, he did a violet flame transmutation meditation Monday through Friday last week. And for those of you who don't realize the significance of that, is it's the year of the snake, and the snake is transmutation. That's all the theme of what we're doing right now. And for Guardian, he starting at 9 p.m. as somebody who wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Starting at 9 p.m. like that every day was really a offering, like a gift, And so if you do get a chance, it's on his YouTube channel. They're free, and it's something that really will benefit you. I have, by the way, have a lot of people report to me when they've come to groups saying that they've done your meditations and how much they benefited from them. So thank you
awesome.
for
I'm
doing
happy
that.
to help. Yeah. Also, like I will be doing more. Like I wanted to do a Christ consciousness meditation this Tuesday, but then you came up that hey, like we should do a live event, and so it shifted to this.
Right
Yeah,
on.
but
Right
yeah,
on.
like
I'm glad that you're able to come
I'm
today.
sorry.
I said I'm glad that you were able to come
Okay.
today.
I'm also very happy. Yeah, but it's like yeah, I usually get up pretty early, but like doing meditations, it's like I know like a easy way out because I can be very relaxed and recharged
Yeah.
while I do the meditation. I don't really have to do intense mental work for that, so it's okay.
Yeah. But still, though, it's staying up. I'm with you though. Like when I do the meditation groups, I find that I stay on longer because it's you are benefiting and you're relaxing, but there's also this charge I find that we get as the ones that it's channeling through. It seems like it reinvigorates you. That's the thing is all these Hollywood movies and stuff. They always drive me crazy. Like if someone's getting channeled, if they're getting a channeled message moving through them, it should not deplete the person. It should be the opposite. I find that I'm reinvigorated, re-energized, and ready to go run around and play with my kid after when perhaps right before I started I was ready to take a
Yeah.
nap. And so if you're feeling depleted after you're doing something that you maybe want to find some balance for and figure out what to do better.
Yeah, like what was that
Right?
Netflix documentary? The I don't know, like channeling or mediumship, or I think it was like 4 years ago that appeared. I don't think also we talked about it. And there was like the first case study that they did with some kind, I think it was like a spiritualist church or something, that they were like doing these seances in a group. And they were like explaining in this like ecstatic way that, oh, like they need to do it together because it requires so much life force energy to maintain that state. I was
Oh,
like,
right.
holy shit,
Yeah.
like that's a red flag right there. Like it shouldn't be depleting or requiring your life force energy to do these stuff. So I mean, it can be
Right.
tiring, kind of. Like I also, because I mean, I wouldn't say like it's not depleting me, but when you're in that heightened, hyper aware channeling state for like an hour or so, like it's going to tire your mind because like you're in like, at least in my case, I'm like in this super focused mode. I'm not zoning out or
Yeah.
anything like that, and like being 100% present and focused for an entire hour can be tiring after a time.
Oh. Yeah, I'm usually good for about an hour. I've noticed that most of my meditations are on average an hour
Yeah,
long
like after that,
for the
it's too
same, and
much.
I don't mean for it to be. It just happens that way.
Yeah, I think that's
What was it?
kind of, I don't like the balance way. I also know that like during QHHT sessions, that's like the hypnotic regression thingy developed by Dolores Cannon. Like there's also regulation that you cannot leave a person in that state for more than an hour. So I guess like that's the optimal,
Interesting.
I don't know, like duration or period for a body to handle that specific state, I guess.
Huh. That's fascinating. Yeah, it's just something I've observed. Is I mean I would like a couple of shorter ones because some people don't. They'll look at like an hour long meditation. They'll be like, dude, that's a commitment. I don't know,
It is.
but like
It is.
because
But
it
yeah, like
is,
you have the
yeah.
opportunity to like go really deep with an hour. But I got the inspiration. Don't know yet when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do like these 20 minutes like recalibration and so meditations that are like more accessible. Like if you don't have much time, I think I did a few of those in the past too. So I will do some of
Yeah.
those in the very near future. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I will. And I don't know if you've been reading these comments, but there's people that are talking about your meditations, and they're saying that they plan to continue to repeat them. Like Karen says, the Violet Flame Meditation Marathon was potent, deeply grateful to be able to participate. I will be repeating them often.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And then a few other people are talking about it. Jess was mentioning she was super potent, easy to feel, unified with the entire group. Just lovely. And there's more that people have said to me privately, or you just haven't been around for. But I just want to say thank you for that. You've really benefited a lot of people. And if you didn't get a chance and you're listening to this show and it's still there, these meditations are timeless, and that means that it doesn't lose its strength and ability to assist you over time. So you could do that meditation in the live. You could do it a month later and still get just as um, deep healing as you would in any of those moments. So this fun conversation about the channeling, Jess brings it up. That's what they indicate in the law of one as far as channeling and energy levels, etc. Yeah, and that's, I do know that there have been people I've talked to that made a little bit of a miscalculation and were letting themselves be channeled through by some other energy, I guess. But it doesn't feel like it was, what we think of when we talk about channeling either. For me, every time I feel rejuvenated, I feel inspired, and I'm ready to go. But yeah, my mind is tired. I don't want to do anything that require, like, I'm not going to go do a puzzle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use that part of my mind. I want to like let my mind veg and just play, just dance.
Yeah, like I also remember when we did the Patreon channeling sessions. Like I think it was Michelle who said that like we should talk for an hour or like half an hour before we channel, because like when I'm done, like I'm done, like I'm not good for anything after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I just want to go to sleep or rest a bit, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do too. We usually talk for an hour before, because after, I'll try to talk after, but most of the time when we're having those conversations, I'm still sitting in front of the computer, because I love the people there, but I really just want to hang up as soon as the meditation's over. I love you guys, thank you, but everybody wants to share about their experience,
No,
so
that's
you stay
cool
around,
too.
and then
Yeah.
you're like, yeah. It's been a very amazing thing to do these meditations. When Spirit told me that I would be guiding meditations, I laughed in their face. There was no way. Like, I was talking to
I
you,
remember
Guardian,
how
pretty
scared you
regularly,
were
and that,
to do your first meditation. I
what did
remember
you
how
say?
scared you were to do your first meditation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. And then finally, Archangel Michael came in and said, "You're not even gonna be driving. Chill out." Like, they're like, "You're not even." And I didn't understand that the chant. I thought you had to, like, you know, write your meditation ahead of time, and I don't do any of that at all. And it's like a lot easier than I expected it to be. But I did think, when they told me that, I was like, "You've got the wrong address. You're talking about Guardian." Like, obviously, no. But, because you are the person that I always knew that did these live meditations and stuff. And one thing I did want to comment on is that, for any of you who can join Guardian Live, there is a strength behind it, doing it simultaneous to others. So, like, when you join as the group is doing it at the same time, there's some other new experience that I have not been able to replicate. Like, so if you do get a chance and you see Guardian going live for his meditation, I would encourage you to join him live if you can.
Yeah, if you can. Like we would try to keep them on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Europe. Not sure what that. I mean, it's the same time as we started this event, basically.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Central. And that would be 11 a.m. Pacific. And that's 7 p.m. UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really powerful. And the fact that he does it at that time, you can kind of find it's almost lunch for most people, or it is, in the mountain. So if you can, notice that that's coming on Guardian, usually will post, you'll put the link up saying that you're going to go live, and people can see that it's an upcoming event pretty far in the future, so you can kind of work it into your schedule and mark it on your
Yeah, like,
calendar.
or maybe are there like more okay times when I should do it? The problem is that I can't really do it later because it's like too far in the evening for me. I'm not sure if
Right.
it's worth doing it earlier, maybe an hour earlier or so. But maybe that's like too
Let's
early
see what the
for people on the West Coast, maybe.
at 6 a.m. in New Zealand, so that's just like New Zealand, I think, is later than AEST. Let's see what people say. I know for me, that's I've noticed from this perspective, that an hour later is usually when everyone's
Mm-hmm.
online. But, like, let's see what the audience says. I'm just curious if anyone's going to comment.
Maybe I
Um,
would do an experiment to hold it an hour later and see how many people join.
yeah, you can even do a poll. I love doing
Mm-hmm.
those polls. I haven't done one for a while. Jules says it's
Yeah.
the perfect time for her. Um, let's see. And lots of times, like, the reason I go live when I do, which I would start live right now. The reason I've done that is that we established that that's when the audience is
Mm-hmm.
online, by looking at the YouTube thing. When I was in the Pacific time zone, I was starting at noon. And now that I'm starting at 2, I've just become a later riser. I do these and then we do family stuff. Like, it's just become, but my daughter is, I just let her kind of do what kind of sleeping schedule she wants to. And she goes to bed about the same time I do, which has typically been about 5 a.m. That's bedtime. And that's when you're waking up, Guardian. So we're like complete opposites.
What do you do during the night?
Because I do my sessions and stuff first, and then we do like we homeschool, and she's a chatty 11-year-old, so she just we just hang out and talk and do our thing, and then we have, now it's time for alone time and just kind of do your own veg thing, and that can end up taking longer. You end up realizing that you've been playing your puzzle game for way too long, or I've been in the corner writing for far too long, and the sun's up, we can't tell because the curtains are pulled or drawn, and you're like, oh wait, it's past sunrise, we got to go to bed, but you're still awake.
Well, it's a very strange existence from my eyes. I wouldn't be able to do that.
And that's how it's been since she was a baby. Because when she was born, I was in the situation where I wasn't going to work right then, and so I was like, well, and her dad was a graveyard person. He worked the night shift, so he would go into work when everybody was going to bed, and he would leave work about the time everybody was waking up, right? And so that just kind of and that was the schedule I kept too when I was in the workforce. I worked 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the hours I kept. That was, and then I would get off of work at 6 a.m. and I'd go watch the sunrise and, do a couple things and go to bed. Anyway, so then when she was born, I was like, why not? Let's just see what happens. And I've discovered that we sleep differently based on the season. And not in the way people expect. You think that during the winter time, it would be the way we're doing it, but it's actually in the summer. We stay up a lot later in the summertime and sleep in a lot longer in the summertime than we do in the winter. And it's just, we did an experiment not very long ago. It wasn't meant to be an experiment, but it worked out that way around the time my mom died. So I just I was in mourning and we had different stuff going on. Is that we just let ourselves sleep whenever. I took a week or so off, and it turns out we naturally keep like a 48-hour clock, and we just have like naps and then like 12 hours of sleep, and then but meaning, if you looked at it, if I could change the way that the sun moved, and where it would be, if the sun would rise again 48 hours later, it would fit perfectly for the clocks that we kept. It's the most bizarre thing. I know people who are early risers just can't wrap their head around
it. Like whenever there's like an event, like a wedding or something similar, and like we are up after like 11 p.m. or God forbid like 1 a.m. during the night, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not good for anything during those hours.
And I just turn on. So here's what I've discovered over the years for me. If I cross midnight, if I cross the line of midnight and I'm still awake, I'll be rejuvenated and reinvigorated, and I'll be awake for a while. If I cross 3 o'clock, same thing. But what's really the line of all lines, if I cross 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm still awake, I'll be rejuvenated in a way that I'll probably be up till 8 at the very earliest. I'll be going to sleep at that. And that's just, I've always been a nighttime person though. Like my dad, we were raised with the same schedule that I just talked about. My dad worked graves for a long time too. He worked graveyard shift. And so I was waking up at 3 p.m. as a child, and I was the only one awake. I was the early riser in the house, when I was a kid. So it's just how I was raised, I guess,
I mean,
and just
if it
how we've,
works for you, then yeah, like, why not?
yeah. I'm a night owl, man. When the sun goes down, that's when all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm ready. That's when I clean
That's
historically.
when you turn on the
When everybody
vacuum
goes to bed.
cleaner and washing machine.
Well, I will be more aware regarding the vacuum cleaner stuff. So the floors actually take longer to get cleaned because I always forget to do it before everybody goes to bed, you know. But because I have neighbors that share some of the same walls as we have, and that's just rude. But other than that, though, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Like it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in there. Like I'm like, I dug my well in the night hours when I was off grid. The well that
Oh,
we used, I dug it at night.
yeah,
Like that's just me. It's so funny too. I'm wearing white. You're wearing black. I'm in, North America. You're in Eastern Europe. It's nighttime for you. It's midday for me. We're like, so it's so funny to compare the
yeah,
opposites.
definitely. I just like imagine the situation when some of your, I don't know, like if you had neighbors back then when you were off grid, that someone would saw you
No,
that someone would spot you that, hey, like, why is that lady digging a hole during the night in the forest?
well, yeah, I lived in a town of like 300 people, and that was 300 people during the summer. Like because it was like people would come live there during the summer. I had somebody who shared the driveway with us, but our driveway was like a road that was a mile long, and like, um, anyway, so no one ever noticed. My daughter knew. I remember like I would see people sometimes that were like starting their day, and I was still out there. As far as they could tell, I just must have been an early
Hmm.
riser. Because they say, the early bird gets the worm, but they forget to remember the bird that was there before you woke up is me. She has corpses to bury. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny. But I can say too that when I do the deepest, awesome, in my opinion, the most amazing meditations, it's his later hours. Like there's something about it for me. I don't know what it is. Like it's it's funny because we do now have so many friends all over the world that the way I sleep and wake is more it's lined up for Australians more than it is
Hmm.
Americans. Like because when I'm waking up, let's say like right now it's I think right now it's 5 a.m. in Australia, in Eastern Australia, and like that would be me being an early riser. you know so it's kind of funny. And then 4 o'clock in the morning I want to do a group meditation, you know what I mean, but I'm also it's just funny. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about this so long. Sorry to Ryan go on and on about it. um do you so what when you were talking about you're planning on doing more meditations and they were going to be on
Hmm.
Tuesday, um do you have any I think someone had asked earlier, what do you know what you're kind of planning on? Like is it going to be more violent? You said something you're going to do something
Yeah, I mean,
different.
the next ones, I think, like that's what I got. Excuse me, is going to be like meditation with accepting and integrating the energies of the sun and like Christ consciousness energy. And I wanted to do that this week, but our meeting came up, so this is what we got this week. And I'm going to
Right.
keep it to next week. But it's going to be in the similar format that we did the violet flame meditations. So it's going to be about an hour long meditation. And I will do from time to time, if I have the inspiration, like shorter form, like energetic tools and activations that only take like maybe 20 minutes or so. So it's more
Right on.
accessible for people who don't have that much time to invest, basically.
Right. That's a, yeah. I mean, I've been thinking we need to work on doing something now on my end too. So this will be this Tuesday, and so you'll be starting when we started this
Yeah, I
show, or
think I
you'll be
will
starting about
start
now.
at the same time that we started this show, but I will schedule the event quite a few days in advance so everyone will be able to see it. So it's not going to be a
Cool.
surprise
Awesome.
appearance in your feed.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people look forward to seeing you going live because there's a lot of chatter. I don't know if you how much you come into the Telegram group, but there's a lot of conversation and sharing about it. So it's good for those who are in the audience who will listen to this now or later on to know that you can expect this coming up. The meditations that I've ever done with you have always been super profound and lasting. You know, the results stick around for a while, and I really do appreciate the service that you provide doing that.
I'm happy to have the platform and the way to do it. So
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, do you want to see my new toy? I think this is really funny. It made me laugh. It's so cute. Like, well, first of all, it's reversed, so you can't see.
It's something YouTube.
It's so like has a beard.
Something. It's ghosting you.
And you open it up, and it's a clacker.
Oh.
Cut.
And what are you going to use it for?
Isn't that fun? Yeah, I gave it to my daughter. She uses it for her. She has a YouTube channel now. I don't know if you know that. She does. It's not her live. She makes cartoons.
Oh, like
most of the cartoons are about ETs and planets and stuff, and like her different little. She calls it Maddie and Friends. Anyway, so she does her own little thing with it. We've been playing with the green screen, and we're gonna actually do something that's more of like us on the screen with puppets.
Or stop motion animation.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I don't know why I showed that to you. That was random.
Yeah, like send over the link later on Telegram.
Yeah, I'll share it with you. I'd be happy to. Oh, we probably need to start wrapping this up because this is kind of getting late. Is that right?
I will be leaving soon.
I just saw the chatting starting, so I was like, "What's that?" Yeah, we should wrap this up. You know what? Yeah, as you guys know, I came on like half asleep, and so like I kind of need to kind of wake up and do my thing. We are planning on doing the group today, even though I just realized I haven't done the link for it and put out there for you all to see. So I'm gonna do that after we hang up here. And hey, Vegan Vixen wrote that at 14:11:44. That seems really significant. So any of you who want to join this Zoom meeting that's going to be starting at 5 o'clock, which is about 3 hours from now, that's when we're going to start our group chat. You can find that on in the Telegram group, as well as it'll be in the community section of the YouTube channel. So, and anybody who wants to catch Guardian's earlier meditations or the one that's coming up next week, you'll find his link to his channel in the description, as well as it should be in the title of this
with an ad, Jay Zoltan.
Yeah, if I've not done it, then it's because I have to go back. Sometimes I do have to go back because I'll start it in a restream and I'll have to go to the and Guardian, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, truly appreciate every time that we get to connect. Sorry I've been such frazzled energy today.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. Like we're all adjusting and readjusting and trying to navigate what is happening. So
yeah, it's been a crazy time. Well, sending you all love. Thank you for being here, Guardian. And I will see all of you who choose to join us in a couple of hours.
Awesome. See you soon. Bye.